and
Yup.
it's so annoying.
Let's talk about Doja Cat. You know, you just casually made a bag for her. There's so much that goes into it. Like,
because I didn't think I was going to be able to do it. So,
hey guys, it's Natalia and welcome back to Unfiltered Fashion Talks. Today we have Rovell Gaither with us. I am so excited. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I am so good. I'm so happy to have you here.
Me too. Like I said, this is my first time doing a podcast. This is my second ever interview, but like first podcast. So this is exciting because I always listen to podcasts and watch them. So this is going to be fun.
I'm so honored. I love podcasts and I love filming them. And you're like my first male guest. This is really exciting for me. Yeah. I've only interviewed like other like girl fashion designers and stuff. Like this is fun. I'm excited.
There's a lot of firsts today.
I know. So fun. Just give us like a little rundown of yourself, a little intro of who you are.
Okay, well, my name is Rovell Gaither. I started and got interested in fashion my second year of high school. I started fashion design, getting into clothing and things like that. So started sewing, and then recently, about 2 years ago, I had got into bags. So I've been sewing for about a good 6.5 years, but for 2 years, I've been making bags. And I was going to college, dropped out, started my business, been focusing on that. And that's like kind of like a long story short. I don't know if you want to go like in depth, but that's like a little short, long story short, pretty much.
Yeah, no, let's dive into like how you got started in like fashion and sewing and like what sparked that for you.
Yeah, definitely. So it's funny because I literally in high school, like my first year and a half, I was not into fashion at all. I was a kid who wear like baggy American jeans with green Converse and
oh no,
I did not care at all. But it was my second year of high school. I remember in PE, there was this guy. His name's Kayvon. We became friends. I told him not too long ago, actually, that he got me into fashion. But he had this really cool, it was like a leopard print shirt on. It was really colorful. And for some reason, mind you, I was not into fashion at all. And I was like, that's a cool shirt. So I went up to him and I asked him, I was like, where did you get your shirt? And he said H&M, which for me, I was like, really? I had never heard of H&M because I wasn't into fashion.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, really? That's so cool. So I told my mom, I was like, okay, I want to go to H&M one day after school and just shop around and da-da-da. So like 2 weeks later, we go to H&M and I'm just in there and I'm just, you know, you can tell I wasn't into fashion because I was just so gagged, like the most basic thing in H&M. And that's really where my interest in fashion started. So then like a few months after I started getting into clothing and just, you know, pieces in general, I was like, why don't I try to make clothes? So my mom, she had a sewing machine in the garage. She's had it for maybe a few years before I got interested in it. And I was like, you know, can you pull out and show me how to sew? And she was like, yeah, I'll show you one day. And she never did. So one day after school, she was at the store and I used to walk home all the time. So while she was gone at the store, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go in the garage and I'm gonna find the sewing machine myself and I'm gonna pull it out and teach myself how to do it. So I went in the garage, found the machine, and then I brought it upstairs to my room. And I just remember I was on it all night, just sewing, watching a bunch of YouTube videos. And then a few months later, the machine, it wasn't a good machine at all. So one day after school, walking home, I went to Walmart because it was on the way home. And I bought a new sewing machine. It was a Singer 44S heavy duty. And I walked all the way home carrying the machine and I just sewed on it all day. And then yeah, that's really kind of where my interest in fashion started. And I just started making clothes. And in my senior year of high school, me and my friends, we started a fashion club because we had a fashion class, but the teacher a few years prior to me getting interested in fashion had passed away. So they no longer offered that class, you know, that you can take. So we started a fashion club, and then that wasn't my senior year. It was my junior year. And then it really grew. And then after I graduated, I took a break from sewing, and then I got back into it. My auntie had asked me to make her a fur jacket for her birthday. That was 2 years ago in February. It was actually around this time, and that's what got me back into sewing. And then about a few months after, that's when I had made my first bag because one of my mom's friends had came over and she had this really cool sling bag on. And I was like, you know, that's a really cool bag. So I was like, you know, I've been wanting a sling bag for a long time. Why don't I try to make one? Mind you, I made a bag before. It was in fashion club, but it was not as detailed as that one. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to try to make one. I'm getting back into sewing. Why not try it? And I had some extra denim fabric in my closet from a project that I had did a while ago. So I was like, you know, why don't I use this denim fabric so I don't have to go out and buy anything? And I went on YouTube, looked at a bunch of videos on how to make bags, and I made the pattern. And it took me like a week to make one bag. But after I was like, oh, this is so much fun. I should do an Etsy. So then I started an Etsy. I got no sales. The only sale that I got on Etsy was from one of my friends, but I only got that sale because he wanted me to make him a custom bag. And I was like, you know what? If you go on Etsy and purchase it, I'll do you a custom one. Because, you know, on Etsy, it shows how many sales you've gotten for your overall. And I had 0 sales. And I was like, you know what? I want to change that. So I made him purchase so it can look like I got 1 sale. And then a few months after that, I had made a website, which I don't know why, because I wasn't getting any sales on Etsy. And then I made a bucket hat collection. And then that's what started my website. And I was like, you know what, let me keep making bags, putting them on my own website. And then I started using TikTok. And, you know, it took a while to kind of get the ball rolling, but that's kind of how I got here today. I feel like that was such a long story.
No, that's like so cool. You have such an
much
interesting like background in it because like you're kind of basically self-taught from my understanding,
that's
right?
the part that made it a lot more interesting. And I was actually going to my senior year of high school, I was looking around because I was interested in potentially going to fashion school. I didn't really want to go to college, but I was like, you know, if I'm gonna go, I might as well go to fashion school.
Yeah.
I was looking around at FITM. There was the Academy of Arts, and there was another one I can't remember. And my cousin, the year that I was graduating high school, no, my junior year, she had just graduated fashion school in LA, and she came back home. And I asked her, I was like, you know, is fashion school worth it? And she was like, honestly, with what you know and the skill you have, I wouldn't even waste my time going. That's what she told me. So then after that, I was kind of like, I was like, I don't know if I really want to go. So then ended up going and just kept being like more so self-taught. And I like being self-taught because I can learn at my own pace. It's not like you have to do things for a grade, you know, you don't have to feel that pressure. You can kind of have more fun with it. So that's what I like about being self-taught. It's I feel like it's a little bit more fun, but it takes longer, a lot longer.
Yeah, no, I think it's impressive. And like I agree. I don't think everybody needs fashion school, but I think there are some people that probably learn better that way than others. But if you have like, you know, the work ethic to teach yourself, it's totally doable.
Yeah, definitely.
Clearly. Super impressive that you're self-taught, especially with like bags. Like those are some hard things to make. Like I don't personally make any bags necessarily, but like that is a long process. Like there are so many tiny little details to it.
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
insane.
Honestly, I don't even know. Like, I'll make a bag and I'm like, what the heck? Like, how do you know to do this? Because I honestly don't know. Like, I remember the first bag that I ever made. It was like, it came so natural because I made clothes, but I was good at making clothes, but I wasn't that good. Like, if you were to compare the way that I make bags to my clothes, not the same thing at all. My bags are way better than the clothing that I made. And I was never good at making patterns for clothes. So when it came for me to make my first bag, I was like, I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to make this pattern. But it was like, it happened so much easier. I was like, see, I think I should be doing bags because it came a little bit more natural. Like, I don't even know how I know how to do what I do. It just happens, honestly.
That's
really
so
don't.
interesting. That's so funny. I like wouldn't have thought that like if you're not so great at clothes, you could be like really good at accessories. Like I would think it's the opposite because like accessories are I feel much more detailed and like harder. At least I think they're harder. I don't know. Maybe they're not, but like there's so much that goes into it. Like
yeah, it's a lot of specs and little things, but I like it a lot more than clothes. I don't know. I like clothes is fun, but for me personally, I think bags is a little bit more like I feel like it's my speed.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. Like you definitely have got it down. Like they literally look like store-bought luxury handbags. That's insane.
Is that every time like I have this one bag that I wear out all the time, and every time someone asks to see it, they're like, "Oh my goodness, you made that! It just looks like luxury," and I'm like, "Yeah,
yeah, it's
like,
insane."
Yeah, no, it is.
That's so freaking cool. This is like a really random side question. Do you ever get like weird comments about your pricing of your bags at all?
Oh yeah, all of the time.
Because like here's the thing. I feel like people are more likely to like spend more money on like a good bag because like luxury bags are a thing. I'm like so curious how that's been on your end of things.
So, you know, people are willing to spend more money on, you know, accessories a little bit because I don't know. I don't know if it's like something that's just like put in people's mind that, you know, accessories should be a little bit more high end, but people are willing to pay a little bit more. But the thing is, if you're a smaller brand and you're not as well known, people are going to complain about any little thing. So, you know, there's people who say that my prices are amazing, and there's people who say you should be selling this for $50 to $100. And then I'm like, are you crazy? Because that's not even going to pay for the materials. So like, what are you talking about?
Right.
Yeah, no, I get comments all of the time. And at first it used to annoy me a lot, but it's something that you kind of get over. And it's like, you know what? I'm just going to keep raising my prices actually. So
yes.
either you get it now while it's cheaper, or it's just going to continue to go up. Because honestly, sometimes I'm like, I'm not making enough money for everything that I'm putting into this. And I don't know how I can keep this up without raising my prices. So, I mean, they're definitely going to keep going up, but people are annoying. So they definitely do.
Yeah, no, I get that. I'm the same way. And I've been like slowly increasing things the entire time. But yeah, I feel like you could totally sell them for more. Like the amount of work you put into it is insane.
Yeah, and the thing is, at first I was like, you know what, I knew that my prices would gradually go up. I was like, because you know, when you're first starting out, you don't have an audience, you don't have people looking, you know, harder to get yourself in front of people. But now that my reach is growing, it's kind of like I can raise my prices because I know more people are going to see it now. But the reason why I was kind of having my prices a little lower at first is I was like, well, have nobody seen my stuff, and if they do see my stuff and see that it's like $400, $500, it's not going to convert into a sale. So at first it was lower, but it's gradually going up. And for my new collection, my Valentine's Day collection, I was adding up the numbers and the hours and price for everything to get the total of the price. And I remember the bag was a little over 500. And I was like, whoa, that's a little price. So I was like, you know what, let me knock off a few. And I put it at $495. And I caught myself doing that. And I'm like, why do I keep doing this to myself? So, and the bag still sold. So I was like, see, I could have just at the price and it could have sold, but it's something that I still have to learn because, you know, people complain. So it gets in your head. It's just something that you have to learn to look past. And it's a mental game, honestly.
Yeah, no, it really is. I'm the same way. Like I'll add up my hours and it'll usually be like, I don't know, like 350 or something. I'm like, I don't know, 325 sounds a little bit better.
Like, you know, let me just knock a few off and make it look a little bit more appealing because honestly, it's hard, especially as a smaller designer, because people, if you're not high end, people don't look at you as, oh, I don't think I want to spend that much money because if I wear that, no one's going to know what I'm wearing. People like to spend their money depending on how flashy am I going to be, or no. If people going to know what I'm wearing, are they going to know that this is that? So that's why I do appreciate a lot of people who do purchase from me because I'm not a big name brand as of right now. So it's like they're spending their hard-earned money on not the cheapest items, and I really do appreciate that because a lot of people do complain. So sometimes you're like, do people not like my stuff? Do they think it's not worth it? Like, because people have something to say. So
yeah, no, that's so true. But I think that you have like a cool thing going on where like a lot of them are like one of a kind. So it's like, I don't know, it's more special for a customer to be like, I'm the only person in the world who has this bag.
Yeah. You know, it's crazy because one of my dad's friends, he's not my uncle. He's telling me about NFTs and how I can do that with bags. And I was like, I don't understand any of it. So I'm not going to even think about that right now. Because he's like, you know, it's one of ones. And so I was like, I don't understand it.
I don't either. Do not worry.
Don't get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but that's so cool that it is like one of one. I feel like that makes it like 10 times more special and more likely for people to want to buy that.
Yeah, it does. But it also makes it hard because it's like, and really I do that mostly because you probably understand, like when you make something, you don't want to continuously make the same thing over and over. It's so annoying. So I like make something, and as soon as I make a collection, I'm over it and I want to move on to something else. And sometimes I'm like, this is a good thing, but then it's also a bad thing because I have so many patterns that I have, but I'm not using them because I'm barely making the same bags again. So that's a thing that other people are like, oh, you should restock. And I'm like, should I? But I'm like, I don't want to. I just want to move on. So it's like, I just continuously keep moving on and making new stuff. But it makes it hard too because I have to always keep coming up with new designs. So
yeah.
But I like it though. It's interesting.
Yeah, no, I definitely feel that. I'm so back and forth about that because I also have like limited collections. Like I make more than one of each, but it's like I get so tired after making like 5 of something. I'm like so over it.
And it's like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't even want to stare at this fabric right now.
Yeah.
let it. I want to be over with it. That's literally how I feel.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. Also just like switching gears, let's talk about Doja Cat. You know, you just casually made a bag for her. Like, can we get like a whole
Dude,
story
you
on
know what's
that?
crazy? Actually, so the first time I posted it, everyone loved it, and recently I had another TikTok account, and I
Mhm.
posted on, got a lot more views. And you know, people are talking so bad about that and literally telling me that I'm lying. It was like they're like, you're lying for
Are you
like they
kidding?
yeah, people are literally accusing me of lying, saying that this never happened, doing this for views. And I'm like, you're actually crazy because it did.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people think that she contacted me to make the bag. So I think that's probably where a lot of people get it wrong.
Mm.
So I was invited to an event by my friend, and she was booked to perform at the event. And my friend was like, "You should make her a bag." And I was like, "You're lying. Can I do that?" And she was like, "Yeah." So for a few months, I was kind of sitting on the idea, like, what kind of bag do you make for Doja Cat? So then we were at my birthday dinner. This was July 25th of 2021. We went to my birthday dinner, and I was talking to my friend who invited me. I was like, what kind of bag should I make? And then she was like, why don't you do a bag that looks like a planet? So I was like, that's a good idea. I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do that, but I was like, that's a good idea, because she had dropped her album Planet Her. So I was like, that goes hand in hand. That's a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
So I started sketching up some stuff. And then I came up with a circle bag that had like a ring that looks like it's coming off of the bag. And I wanted to keep it true to, what I do. So I used full denim. I did black denim, and then the pink ring was like a pink selvage denim. And I thought that was really cool. And then when we were there at the event, she performed, and then I was supposed to meet her and that gift her the bag personally. I did get to
Mm-hmm.
talk to her for a few seconds, but I gave the bag to her security team, and they said she loved it, but that was pretty much the end of it. So I don't really know 100%, but they said that she liked it. So
I mean, I can imagine she did. That's so freaking cool. Like the bag itself is so freaking cool.
yeah, I liked it. There are a few things about it that I wish I could have done better, but I purposely made the bag close to the day that I was supposed to be giving it to her, because I knew that if I made the bag and I was seeing it for like a few weeks, I would have picked out every flaw that I didn't like about it. But I made it like the day before I was giving it to her, so I couldn't do that. But
Mm-hmm.
there were definitely a few things that I wish that I gave myself more time to fix. But I like the way that came out overall. It was a really huge challenge, and it was difficult, and I'm proud of the way it came out, because I didn't think I was going to be able to do it. So
Yeah, no,
it came,
that's a hard pattern to figure out, I feel like. Like the ring itself
yeah.
seems very difficult.
I wanted to cry. I redid that ring probably 4 times. And the last time, it wasn't
Oof.
perfect. No, this is as good as it's gonna get right now.
Yeah.
If I do this one more time, I'm going to go insane, and I'm going to throw this thing in the garbage. So I was like, I'm just gonna leave it at this, and it worked out fine. So
Yeah, no, that's so freaking cool. That's insane. I would have literally cried. That's
and it was
insane.
because I had known about Doja Cat for a long time, and I had really heavily started getting into her music, but prior to her dropping Planet Her. So when she did drop it, that's when I was like, okay, I really love this woman. And then when my friend was like, she's gonna be here, you should come and make her back, I was like, are you
Mm-hmm.
serious? Like, I was like, are you serious right now? Like the Doja Cat, like Doja Cat. So then the whole time I was making it, I was like, this is actually so crazy. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, that's literally insane. Like,
Very
wow.
much so.
Yeah, crazy, crazy. Switching gears a little bit. Talking more business stuff. What do you like see as like the future of your business? Like, is this something you want to like continue to like? I know you're kind of early on into it and you probably kind of accidentally stumbled into it. Like, I feel like I did too in a way. But
Yeah,
like
it's
now that you've
definitely.
been doing it and like, you have that audience kind of coming in and more recognition and all, because like you literally sold out of your last collection so freaking quick. That's
I
insane.
know that never happened before, so I was like, "Whoa, this is
Yeah,
crazy."
that's like insane. So like now that you kind of like have that, is this something that you want to like continue doing, or how do you see yourself doing, or
Definitely, I definitely want to continue. Sometimes I'm like, I, I'm in my head, and I'm like, how am I going to further this? Because right now I'm like a one man band. I do everything myself, so I'm like, do I want to do manufacturing one day? And I'm like, but I want to keep everything like handmade. And I'm like, okay, well, do I hire people? And it's like, I don't know, like as of right now, how I want to continue going further. So I always end up putting it in the back of my head and just continue going day by day. It is getting a lot more stressful as I grow, especially on social media, trying to keep up with everything and do
Mhm.
new designs and handle the business and all of that. It's a lot. So I'm like, literally there's days where I'm like, I get anxiety. I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to keep doing this because I don't have anyone where I'm like, okay, what should I do? Like, I don't, at least at least in the sense of being in the fashion industry, like, okay,
Mhm.
what's the next step? What do I do now? So it's kind of like, I just have to figure it out as I go. But I definitely want to keep going and doing what I'm doing. I just don't know how. So I'm just kind of taking it day by day and see where it goes. But I definitely want to continue.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. And I feel like I've had that dilemma going on too, where it's like I love that everything's handmade, but like realistically, you can't keep that up forever.
Right. Especially if you want to grow and grow, not in a sense of just your business, but
Mhm.
also to keep furthering your business and putting
Mhm.
money in your pocket to sustain yourself and business
Exactly.
at the same time. So that's what makes it a little bit more difficult because I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to keep doing this because I can't keep doing it unless my prices keep going up as of right now. That's the
Right.
only, but I don't know. We shall see what the future holds.
That is fair. I feel like I'm in that constant state too of just kind of like, yeah, well, we'll see how it goes. I'll figure it out.
Exactly. And it's like, oh, I wish I could hire someone, but it's like, how do I even do that? Like, where do I
Right?
turn? How do I find someone where I can trust to be able to make what I want the way that I would personally make it? Or like,
Hmm.
it's just a lot. So
Yeah.
I don't know, honestly.
Yeah, no, especially for you because I feel like accessories are a whole other deal and a lot more like attention to detail
Yeah,
and just,
definitely.
there's a lot more to it.
Especially, um, I'm like, okay, if I wanted to do leather, that's different. I can find
Hmm.
manufacturers in Italy or
Yeah.
other places where leatherware or leather goods is like a big thing, but it's like it's
Hmm.
different. So like, where do you go to? Like, I know there's high end brands who do denim bags, but it's
Hmm.
like, do you specifically search for like a denim bag manufacturer? Like, what do you even do? I don't know. So I'm just,
Right.
you know what? I'm just gonna keep doing it myself and see how it goes because I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I honestly have no clue about the accessories world either. So, yeah, I feel like,
Yeah,
yeah, I don't know. Maybe you'll be the first denim manufacturer. Like,
I
I
know.
don't know if that exists. That's really cool.
I know. I'm always like, I would love to one day open my own manufacturing where I can, have people. But also one day I may wake up and I'm like, you know what? I want to make a bag and just walk into my own manufacturing, just make a bag too, along with
Right?
everybody else. Like, that's my goal. That's essentially what I want to do. But I'm like, I can't do that right now because I don't have that money. So I have
Yeah.
to figure out what I'm going to do for now and then a little bit later on. But I don't know, honestly. I always say it'll come. Everything that I've been doing so far, I didn't plan. It just keeps happening. So I'm like,
Hmm.
we're gonna see. I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I don't either. So, like, it's
Yeah.
fine. But it's
Yeah,
worked out this
honestly,
far.
I'm glad that I don't know. It's fun because it's like I don't know what I'm doing. I just keep going, but then it's also scary because it's like I don't know what I'm doing. So
Yeah.
it can be really scary.
Yeah, as long as you don't think about it too much, it's fine. But if you start thinking about it, it's like such a spiral.
Yeah, yeah, very especially if like you put all your eggs in one basket and this is like really your only like ticket. So it's
Yep.
kind of like that's when it gets really scary because it's like I I'm doing this and I did this to myself, so I have to continue going on.
Yeah, yeah, it's kind of a lot, but
Yeah,
you've managed thus far, so I'm sure something will work out eventually.
definitely.
So, how long does it take you to like make a bag or like make a new collection or anything like that?
It really depends on like the size and the style and design of the bag, but the shortest amount of time I would say is taking me to make a bag from start to finish, maybe like 7 hours, and the
Hmm.
longest like 26 to 30 hours.
Wow.
It really depends on like the design and what I'm doing. My Valentine's Day collection total, that one probably took me like all bags, I would say about 30 hours.
Dang.
On 30 to 35 hours. But again, it just depends on like the size and design. But other than it can like the smaller bags, actually let me not say that. if it's like a simple design, it doesn't have any like crazy intricate curves or like excess, extra things, it can be really simple by 6-7 hours. But if it's like a bigger, more intricate, detailed curve type thing, it's gonna be anywhere from like 15 to 20-ish hours.
That's insane.
Yeah, honestly, sometimes because I have an app on my iPad and I time myself and I can have multiple timers going at one time. So like I have all the timers saved from each project and I like scroll and look through. I'm like, I spent that much time on that bag and only charged that much money. I'm like, you're crazy. You're absolutely crazy. So I like that I can look back and see and just because it does take a lot of time and very time consuming.
Yeah, no, that's honestly really smart that you time it. I've honestly never timed myself making anything. I always guesstimate how long it took me, which is really bad.
I used to guesstimate a lot too, but then I was like, I would feel bad because I'm like, am I charging the right amount? Did it really take me that long? So I just downloaded this app. I think it's called Timer Plus, and it's on my iPad, and you can have like multiple timers going and just save each one and name them. And I like it. It makes it a lot easier. So when I'm adding up the time, I just look how long it took me and then pay myself by like that hourly rate and then add in the cost of materials and then all that stuff. It makes
No,
it a
that's
lot
so smart.
easier.
Yeah, that's so smart. I need to start timing myself.
Every time I'm timing myself, I'm like, oh, I'm clocking in. And then when I stop it, I'm like, oh, I'm clocking out. So it's like clocking in and out of work.
I love that. That's so funny.
Yeah.
Wow, I need to get on that because
It
I
makes it so
probably I feel like I'm underestimating. I'm like, oh, I think it took me about an hour to do that.
yeah,
Probably
you'd
took me
be
two.
by time yourself how long it actually takes because as I feel like it's normal like as a designer to underestimate how long something's taking or how much work you're putting into something. So I always found myself underestimating the amount of time. But then when you start timing yourself, you're like, whoa, I did not know I was taking that long just for me to cut out all of the pieces to this bag.
Yes.
It's the little things that take the long amount of time to do.
Yeah, cutting out is probably what takes me the most. And I never like think
Yes.
about factoring that in. I'm always like, oh, it took me like an hour to sew this, but I'm like, probably took me like 2 hours to freaking cut it
No,
out.
literally, you would be surprised. It takes forever to cut out. And then the interface too, that's the part about it that I do not like at all. Like I'll sit for like 4 hours cutting out a bag and I'm like, it takes me probably only 2 hours to sew the bag, but it's taking me 4 hours to cut it out. Like it takes
so true.
A lot longer to cut it out than actually making it probably.
Yeah, no, it's my least favorite part of the process. If I could have somebody just cut everything for me, I don't mind sewing. But like, oh my God.
The first person I'm gonna hire in my business is someone to cut out all my bags. I can't do it. I can't do it. I literally dread it every single time.
Yeah, I don't blame you. It's a lot, especially you have a lot of pieces to your bags.
Yeah, like I mean, it depends on like what design it is, but there's like sometimes when I'm like, and they're like little small pieces, and I'm like, I don't want to do this right now, but I just put on some music or like a podcast or something, and I just get it done. I'm like, might as well.
It's what you got to do. But yeah, it is the worst part of the process, honestly. I hate it.
I hate it.
So going into like social media and your growth and stuff on there, what has been your like best platform or like where have you found like most of your following?
Definitely TikTok. I have a love-hate relationship with TikTok.
Me too.
Because, when you're first, TikTok, I've expressed this so many times. TikTok is a really good platform to grow and get in front of people. But then as soon as they put your stuff in front of people, they take it away. And then they're like, you know what, we're going to just trickle a little bit of it in. And they put your stuff in front of people and then they take it away again. It's like gambling kind of in a sense. But when you're on top, it's really an amazing platform to reach people from all over the world. But then when you're on the bottom end of the algorithm, it's like, I hate this. I don't want to do it ever again. But TikTok has definitely been a huge factor in growing. And Instagram too. I've always liked Instagram. But again, the algorithms are just so annoying. But for growth, for my business, that has been probably the biggest tool. I would say TikTok, definitely.
Yeah, no, I think that's where I found you initially anyway. I feel like, your videos are very captivating because I feel like you just don't see people making like bags that often, or maybe at least I'm on like clothing side of TikTok where I don't see that as often.
Yeah, no,
But
I try. There's on YouTube, there's a bunch. On TikTok, I've
mhm,
tried because I'm like, oh, I'm on TikTok. I might as well follow people who do the same thing that I do. And
mhm.
it's hard to find. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like bag makers, and there's a few, and they're
Mhm,
really good, and I follow a few of them, but then it's not many. So I'm like, this is like a really small what do you call community on TikTok?
mhm.
Like it's really not many people on there doing that. So that's also what makes it interesting and fun too. It's not a lot of people doing it. But now, honestly, there's a lot of people who are starting making bags who follow me, and I see them all the time, and they're like, "Oh, I'm making bags because of you." I'm like, "That is cool. That is
That's
super
so
cool." I
cool.
watched it; they're super good. I'm like, "Whoa!" Like, let me follow you because I'm gonna want to see your growth. It's really cool.
Yeah, no, that's so cool. I've definitely had that too, where people will be like, "Oh my God, I started my brand because of you," or whatever. And I'm like, "Your brand is cooler than mine. What the frick?"
Right? I'm
Like,
like, you just started because I've been
you
doing this
kidding
for
me?
2 years. Like yours looks way better than mine. So what are you doing?
Yeah, no, but that's so cool that you have that because yeah, I do think it is a very small community, like a very like small niche.
Yeah,
Um,
it is. I mean, like, but it also depends, like, what social media platform you're on. Like YouTube, there's a whole community, and Facebook too. There's
mhm.
like groups of bag makers. I've heard about them, but I've never really liked Facebook like that. So I
Yeah, me
haven't.
neither.
Yeah, I don't. It's a little too confusing.
Mhm.
Um, I've never joined any bag making groups, but I know there's a lot on there. So I'm just like, you know what? I don't like Facebook, so I'm just gonna stick to TikTok, Instagram, and then a little bit of YouTube for right now.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I think you should definitely go into YouTube a little more. I think
I
it's
know.
always a good platform.
I I try, but it's like I get so overwhelmed when I'm working because it's like, I'm filming on my big DSLR. I have to make sure everything's in focus, but then I also
Yeah,
have to film phone for TikTok and make sure, and it just becomes so much. And then my DSLR camera wants to die and stop mid through,
so
and I have to
true.
wait for it to charge. Take the videos off the SD card so I can free up space. And I'm like, it's just so much work. But I definitely just told myself a few days ago that I want to like get deeper into YouTube again.
Hmm.
Um, and I don't know if I should get a new camera because my camera is always stopping while I'm filming in the middle of it. So I'm like, maybe I need a new camera. I don't know. But
Hmm.
I definitely want to do YouTube more because honestly, I love YouTube. I watch it
Yeah.
all the time. So I'm like, I like it. Why not keep doing it? It's just I haven't been able mentally to deal with it right now.
Yeah, no, it
Like
definitely
I
it is
put
a
out a video
lot.
every now and then.
Yeah. Yeah. It is a lot to actually do. Like it's a lot of work. But I think
Yes,
in the long run, it's like very beneficial. And also you can like monetize it and have a side income as well, which I think is it's the only
definitely.
reason I've been able to keep doing what I'm doing because
Because you do it all. Like you do the content, you do the business, you do the design.
yeah,
That is like crazy because that is not an easy thing to do
no,
at
it's a
all.
lot. It's a little too much.
Right. It's almost like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this?
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
you have, but I definitely want to do YouTube more. I just have to force myself to at this point.
Yeah, no, you definitely should. I think it'd be really fun. I would love to
Definitely.
watch it.
Yes, definitely. I will. I will do more YouTube.
How do you keep yourself like motivated to keep making bags? Like if do you ever get because
Uh,
I'm sure you get like frustrated when you're like,
yes.
making a new pattern and things aren't turning out and you have to redo and stuff. Like, what are your ways of like coping with that and keeping yourself motivated?
Well, the more realistic way of me coping with it is me saying, this is all that you have. So that's what forces me to get up and keep going. I'm like, you literally don't have anything else going for yourself. So if you don't get up and do this, no one's gonna do it for you. That's the
Right.
realistic thing that I say to myself. But then there's also, I'm like, there's days where I'm like, man, I really do not want to do this. Like I just want to like sit in bed and watch YouTube or like, I don't know, just do something other than this. So then there's days where I do force myself to take a break, but then I always feel guilty for taking a break and like I'm not
Yep.
doing anything. But keeping myself motivated, honestly, I watch YouTube videos of other people doing what I do. I watch you.
Oh,
It's
thank you.
like especially watching your work with me videos. Those are always literally I can't even count how many times I watched that while cutting out a bag or making a pattern or just sewing. It's like I feel like if I'm like, oh well, if I'm watching someone else do it, it can be like they're doing it, so I might as well get up and
Right.
do it too. So that's another I do that. Or just like it's more so the realistic version, like, well, you need to get up and do this because if you don't do it, no one's gonna do it for you. that's really my main way of keeping myself motivated. But then that's also, again, I look at other designers and work and see what they're doing, and then being like, I love that. I would love to get to that skill point. So then let me just keep working and practicing and doing different things. So,
Mm-hmm.
and it's also, I like it too. So it's not really that I have to be motivated a lot. It's just I have to be motivated through the parts that I don't like to do, like
Yes.
cutting out, or like if I sit here and sew, I probably wouldn't have to be as motivated because I love sewing, even though it gets
Mm-hmm.
tiresome. But if I could sew more so than make patterns and cut them out and do all that, I probably wouldn't have to be motivated really much at all. I would get up pretty much almost happy every day and go to my sewing machine. But it's the other things that it's like, okay, you have to get up and do this. So
Mm-hmm.
mostly being realistic. I feel like that was a stupid answer.
No, but like that's very legit because I'm the same way of like, okay, well, if you don't do this, how are you gonna pay your bills? How are you gonna freaking do anything? Like no one's
Literally.
gonna do it for you.
Exactly. Like, and then that's when it feels like you're trapped almost, because it's
Yes.
like, oh my gosh, the endless cycle, because it's like, if I'm not doing this, I'm not making any money. I can't pay to live, survive, and keep my business going. So
Mm-hmm.
it gets really hard. And there's days where I'm like, I just want to cry and just be like,
Yes.
why did I do this? But like, I have to keep going because it's like, why not?
Yeah, no, I'm the same way. It definitely gets to me sometimes and I'm like, why did I do this to myself? Why am I here?
Mhm.
But also I wouldn't want to be doing anything else. So
Exactly. Why it's like a kind of like, why did I do this? But it's like, I don't want to do anything else. So why not do it?
exactly.
Kind of like,
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. Do you have any like designers that like you look up to that you like accessory wise or not really?
um, a lot of people ask me that, and I never know like what to say, because there's like high-end designers that I look at that I love. Like recently, I've been obsessed with Coach. I don't know why. I
They've
love
been
their
killing it
designs. Like,
lately.
exactly, they're making a
Yeah.
huge comeback. I think their
Yeah.
stuff, their new stuff has been really dope, and I've been watching all of their stuff because I love it.
Hmm.
But like smaller brands, not really, because I haven't really found many bag makers. Like, I don't know, it's such a small community. I haven't really seen anyone where it's like, where I'm looking at all their stuff and I'm like, I love, like, this is such a huge inspiration to me. But like, when I'm going to make a new piece or a new collection, I'll look at a bunch of different bags and brands. And like, there's a few that I look at, mostly Coach, and like more vintage designs of like Gucci,
Hmm.
Balmain, things like that. But there's not really like smaller brands or smaller designers that I'm inspired by. It's more like higher end vintage pieces and stuff like that. So every time someone asks me, I'm like, I don't know what to say, because there's not many that I'm inspired by.
Yeah, no, I get that. I'm the same way when people ask me about like clothing. I'm like, I don't really look to other designers too
Yeah,
much. I
I mean,
don't know.
I look at other designs, but I also try not to so much, because it's like I'm
Right.
also trying to develop my own lane. And it's like, it's hard when you're looking at a bunch of other designers, because you kind of blur the line. You're like trying to mimic what they're doing, but adding your own
Right.
style to it. There's a lot of times where I'm like, I want to try to create my own type of thing that
Yeah.
other people can find inspiration from. So it's kind of hard when you're looking at a bunch of stuff, because I try not as much as I can to look at other designers, because I'm trying to create different things. But I look at a bunch of different things, so it's kind of hard to say. It's not like one main thing that I go to, like, oh, this is my main source of inspiration. It's like all over the place.
Right. No, I get that. And I feel like your pieces are honestly like very unique. So you can tell that you don't necessarily like look
Yeah, I mean,
after one thing.
I I can't say I don't look at them a lot, because I do, but I
Mhm.
try not to as much.
Right.
Like, I look at, so like, it's mostly vintage things though. Like,
Right.
that's really what I look at, the more vintage designs. It's not really newer things, but I try. It's kind of hard, but I try not to.
Yeah, no, it is hard. And I feel like, I don't know, designs are a lot of the time just like repurposed designs over and over again. Like it's hard to come up with something completely brand new in this day and age.
Yeah, it's like you take it in and you make it your own. It's like recycled all over everywhere.
Exactly. But I think you do a good job of that. Even just like by
Yeah.
the fact that you utilize denim instead of like leather like everyone else does, like that makes it so much more unique already, which is really cool.
Yeah, I love denim. A lot of people are like, "Oh, are you gonna make leather bags?" I'm like, I don't think so. I don't know. I'm
No, I
not
don't
like,
see that for you.
yeah, I always explain it like, there's like, in like in accessories, there's different categories. Like you have people who like to work with leather, they're called leather workers. You have people who like to work with, nylon or like in different type of materials. I call myself a denim worker because I like to work with denim. Like I just like working with it. I don't think I would be interested in leather. I don't know. I don't like working with leather. I like denim. So I'm probably going to stick with denim.
Yeah, no, I get that. They're also two completely different type of textiles, like completely
Totally
different.
Like you have to have different machinery and tools. Like it's not the same at all. Like literally, it's two totally different spectrums.
Yeah, so I don't blame you. That totally makes sense. And I feel like denim is right up your alley anyway.
Yeah, I love it. It's so much fun. It's unique and it's a hard fabric to work with. But if you work with it, you can make some really cool things. So
yeah.
And you don't have to do, like I always say, denim, it speaks for itself. You don't really have to do too much with it. It's like you can spice it up and make it unique and different, but you can also just do something simple and it says a lot about it. Like you don't really have to do too much with it.
Right. Yeah, no, I think that's so true. That's so cool. Thank you so much for coming on here today and talking.
Me.
Of course, it's been super fun. Shout yourself out. Where can people find you?
So you can find me on social media at Rovell Gaither. I do have a second TikTok account, which is Rovell's. It's just my name with the Z at the end. And then my website is rovellgaither.com as well. Pretty much all of my social media handles are my name. So if you want to find me anywhere, you can just type me up on that. And that's really pretty much it.
Perfect. Exciting. Well, go follow if you haven't already, because definitely very much worth it. And you better put like post notifications on for the next collection in case it sells out like in 2 seconds.
I'm scared for that. I don't know.
It's exciting. It's exciting. You never know. So yeah, so go follow. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.